There is a silence inside you that feels both heavy and empty. It's not a peaceful quiet. It's more like a void you don't understand. You wake up every day but you feel numb. You move through your routine without feeling much at all. You might blame laziness or burnout, but it's deeper than that. Numbness is not laziness. It is a protective response, a wall your mind builds to keep overwhelming emotions away. Freud said repression is the foundation on which civilization rests. That means hiding what hurts you becomes a way to survive. Maybe you grew up in a place where feelings were unsafe. Maybe you were told to toughen up or stop being so sensitive. So you learned to push your feelings down. You told yourself, if I don't feel, I won't break. But that silence inside is not emptiness. It's a pressure cooker of emotions you refuse to see. It's anxiety, sadness, fear, all locked away. You think your mind is calm because you're quiet. But inside your thoughts race nonstop. Overthinking becomes your escape from feeling. You analyze every detail except your true emotions. That's because feelings feel unsafe. Better to think than to feel pain. But this distance is not strength. It's a sign of survival. Imagine someone like Mia. She was always told to hide her tears. She became the strong one. But inside she felt hollow. She talked about her pain but never felt it. Her mind was busy, but her heart was silent. That's the trap of overthinking mixed with numbness. You feel anxious but empty inside. Your feelings are buried beneath fear and control. You trade real emotion for mental noise. Your silence screams for help you don't hear. It is a quiet burnout creeping through your life. You feel tired, but it's not just physical. Your soul is exhausted from carrying what you won't face. This is why motivation disappears. You lose interest in things you once loved. It's not failure. It's a signal from within. Your inner world is breaking down. Think of John. He never showed anger or fear. At work, he smiled and said he was fine. Inside, he was burning out. His numbness grew until he stopped caring. He felt like a ghost in his own life. That pain is invisible but real. Your body is begging for space, but you keep filling it with distractions. You scroll, binge watch, work nonstop. You detach from people because feeling is too hard. You pull away from those who care. Not because you don't love them, but because your heart is overwhelmed. Sarah was warm and loving once. After a painful breakup, she shut down completely. She stopped sharing, trusting, feeling. She became a stranger even to herself. Numbness took her joy and her pain. It built walls around her heart. That's the cost of suppressed emotion. Closing off means losing part of your soul. But there is a way back. Healing begins when you start to feel again. Not all at once, but step by step. Notice small emotions. Let anger come without guilt. Allow sadness without shame. Sit quietly with discomfort. Find safe places to express your truth. Write what you can't say out loud. Talk to someone who listens without judging. Emma found healing through journaling. She wrote every feeling, no matter how small. Slowly, her numbness softened. She learned feeling is strength. The path from numbness to feeling is tough. Your mind fights to stay safe in silence. But with patience, your heart opens again. You rediscover joy, love, and purpose. You stop being a ghost. You start living fully again. Because numbness is not your true self. It's a signal. A call to reconnect with your deepest being. And when you answer it, healing begins. Your mind builds walls around your heart. It tells you that feeling is dangerous. It whispers, stay safe, don't feel too much. So you learn to push pain aside. You bury it under layers of distraction. You fill your day with tasks and screens. You avoid silence like it's poison. Your thoughts race, but your heart stays quiet. Overthinking becomes your default setting. You analyze every detail except your true feelings. You think that strategy will keep you whole, but it only keeps you numb. Repression grows like a hidden wildfire. It spreads until you lose touch with yourself. You feel nothing, and that feels safer. Yet safety is an illusion. Inside, your emotions simmer like a storm. They wait for a crack in your armor. They wait for exhaustion to set in. They wait for burnout to break your calm. That moment comes without warning. Your body seizes, panic, fatigue, tension. You wake up feeling like a shell. You wonder, why can't I care anymore? This is silent burnout at work. It's not laziness. It's emotional collapse. It's your soul begging for release. You scroll endlessly to numb the ache. You work late to avoid quiet. You binge watch to escape the void. You say, I'm fine, so often it's true. But fine in your mouth tastes empty. It's a shield you wield against yourself. You learned early to hide tears. Maybe a parent said, boys don't cry. Maybe a teacher mocked your sensitivity. Maybe a friend abandoned you when you showed pain. Those lessons formed your emotional prison. You learned that pain equals rejection, so you shut down before it arrives. This strategy once saved you. Now it traps you. Imagine Sarah at 28. She excelled in her career, got promotions fast, praised as resilient and strong. But at home she felt nothing. No excitement, no sadness, no desire. Just a heavy fog inside. Her friends didn't understand. They said, you're so together. It made her angrier inside. She felt more alone. Until one night she cried, not tears of sorrow, but tears of relief, because for the first time she felt something. It scared her, but it also woke her. She visited a therapist. She learned that repression was poisoning her life, that showing vulnerability was not weakness. It was a path to healing. She started small exercises, naming her emotions each morning, allowing 1 minute of silence per day, texting a friend about her day. She felt awkward at first. Her mind protested strongly. It wanted to return to the safe void, but she persisted. Gradually, her numbness thawed. She felt sadness, then joy, then hope. She remembered what it was like to be alive. This transformation didn't remove all pain. It simply made feelings possible again. And with feelings came clarity. She knew who she was. She knew what she wanted. She knew her boundaries. And she no longer feared saying no, because she finally felt her yes. You can be like Sarah. You can learn to sit with discomfort. You can shine a light on buried emotions. You can replace overthinking with self-awareness. This isn't an overnight fix. It's a daily practice. A gentle invitation to feel. Start by noticing tension in your body. Take a deep breath and ask, what am I really feeling right now? Let the answer come without judgment. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Share it with someone you trust. Acknowledge it with compassion. Repeat each day. You'll stumble. You'll resist. But each time you choose feeling, you dismantle another brick of repression. Your mind will slow down. Your heart will wake up. Your soul will breathe again. And that breathing is the first step out of numbness and into yourself. Your mind never stops running. It chases thoughts like a restless hound. But your heart feels empty. You analyze every moment. You replay each conversation. You dissect every glance. You predict every outcome. You obsess over every possibility. But you never feel. Your thoughts become a shield, a barrier between you and yourself. Overthinking feels productive, feels like control, but it only deepens your numbness, because thoughts can't replace feelings. They can only hide them. Your mind floods with mental noise. To avoid the quiet inside, to avoid the ache in your chest, to avoid the tears waiting to fall. Imagine a river. Overthinking is like a dam. It holds back the current. It stops the flow of emotion, but the water doesn't vanish. It builds up behind the wall until the pressure is unbearable. Then it bursts. Panic attacks, burnout, breakdowns. You think you're just too smart or too sensitive. But intelligence and sensitivity aren't the problem. The problem is suppression. Your mind became your prison guard, allowing endless thoughts in, keeping real feelings locked away. Consider Alex. He was a top student. He scored high on every test. He planned his life by the minute. He tracked his emotions with spreadsheets. He could tell you exactly what he thought, but he had no idea what he felt. When his girlfriend broke up with him, he rationalized the reasons endlessly. He made lists of pros and cons. He weighed every angle. For months later, he felt nothing. No sadness. No anger. Just a void. He wondered why he didn't cry. He thought he should move on. But he moved in slow motion. Therapy taught him a hard truth. He needed to feel before he could heal. He needed to open the dam. Not with analysis, but with presence, with acceptance. He practiced noticing his breath. He practiced noticing his body. He practiced naming his emotions aloud. At first he thought he was doing it wrong. He felt silly. He felt stuck. But he kept going. Slowly he felt a flicker, a warmth in his chest, a tightening in his throat, a tear rolling down his cheek. That tear broke the dam. And the pain that followed wasn't unbearable. It was honest. It was real. It was healing. Overthinking had kept him safe, but it also kept him numb. Every time you think instead of feel, you choose safety over growth. But safety without feeling is stagnation. It's a ghost life, where your mind is alive, but your soul is asleep. Your thoughts become addictions. You binge on what-ifs. You binge on should-haves. You binge on why-am-is. Your head fills with clutter. Your heart begs for emptiness. Your body screams for release. But you hush it with logic, with reason, with perfection. Yet none of that heals you. It only postpones the pain. And pain postponed is pain intensified. Until one day you wake up, and you don't know who you are, or why you're here, or how to feel again. This is the cost of overthinking. It feels like protection, but it's just paralysis. It's an endless loop of your own making. To break free, you must stop thinking. Not forever, but long enough to feel. You must learn to sit with the silence, to let it speak, to let it guide you to what matters. You can start small. Set a timer for 1 minute. Watch your thoughts. Then gently notice your body. Notice your heartbeat. Notice your breath. Notice any tension. Notice any warmth. Notice any tingling. Name what you feel. No, you might say. No one taught me how. I don't know how. That's okay. You're learning. It takes practice. It takes patience. Feel the fear of feeling. Feel the awkwardness of feeling. Feel the small crack in your armor. That crack is your opening. That opening lets life in. It lets connection in. Lets love in. It lets meaning in. When you feel again, you reclaim your life, not just your mind. Your mind will remain busy, but your heart will be alive. Your tears will be messy. Your laughter will be spontaneous. Your choices will be honest. Your boundaries will be meaningful. And your soul will awaken. You'll stop being a spectator in your own story. You'll become the author again, writing with heart, writing with courage, writing with authenticity. Overthinking isn't your enemy, but it can't be your entire life. It's time to let your heart have its say, to let your feelings break the dam so you can finally feel again. Your mind never stops. It races from one thought to the next. It analyzes every possibility. It questions every choice. It plans for every outcome. But your heart remains silent. You feel disconnected from your own life. You overthink to avoid feeling. It's safer in your head than your heart. You replay conversations endlessly. You dissect every word and gesture. You seek certainty in uncertainty. You chase answers that aren't there. You think logic will save you. But logic can't heal your soul. Overthinking numbs the truth. It hides the pain you refuse to face. It builds walls around your feelings. It tells you to keep moving, to never pause, to never rest, to never feel the ache. But that ache is a signal you keep ignoring. When you overthink, you tune out. You ignore your body's wisdom. Your gut knows you're in pain, but your mind overrides it. You trust thought over feeling. You value analysis over authenticity. You mistake numbness for control. You mistake silence for strength. But silence tears you apart inside. You carry the weight of unspoken grief. You carry the weight of unexpressed anger. You carry the weight of buried fear. And it drains you. It steals your energy. It steals your joy. You become trapped in mental loops. Each loop reinforces your numbness. Each loop adds another brick to your wall. You push yourself harder to compensate. You become a workaholic. You become a perfectionist. You become hypervigilant. All to distract from feeling. But distraction never lasts. It only delays the reckoning. Your body will demand release. Through panic attacks. Through insomnia. Through chronic fatigue. Through sudden tears at odd times. Through irritability and rage. Through deep sadness without cause. All symptoms of suppressed emotion. Freud said repression underpins civilization. That means everyone is hiding something. Every culture teaches us to control feelings, but unchecked repression damages us. It fractures our wholeness. It fractures our relationships. We start to fear intimacy. We fear others will see our emptiness. So we keep overthinking. We keep pretending. We keep numbing. Until one day it all snaps. Let me tell you about Alex. He was a high achiever, always planning his next move. He rarely paused. He never questioned his ambition. He buried his loneliness under goals. Until a breakdown at 30. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't focus. He couldn't care. He saw a therapist in desperation. She said, "What are you feeling?" He froze. He didn't know. He thought feelings were dangerous. He thought he'd lose control. She taught him a new practice. Pause. Breathe. Ask, what is happening inside? He started small. 1 minute per day. Just noticing. Anger. Sadness. Anxiety. Shame. He wrote each one down. He allowed tears in private. He allowed rage to be heard. He learned to feel. Slowly, numbness loosened. He rediscovered joy. He rediscovered purpose. He reconnected with friends. He reconnected with himself. That is the power of feeling. Not thinking. Not distraction. Not running. But feeling. When you overthink, you miss life. You miss connection. You miss love. You miss yourself. So the next time your mind races, pause. Take a breath. Bring your attention to your body. Notice tension, tears, tightness, empty spots in your chest. Name the feeling. I feel anxious. I feel sad. I feel angry. Allow it, without judgment, without fixing, without analysis. That is the beginning of reclaiming your heart, of dissolving the wall, of stepping out of the prison, of living fully again. Overthinking is a sign. It's a sign your soul needs attention. Your heart needs space. Your feelings need voice. Listen to it, feel it, and the mind will follow. Your body feels heavy even when you rest. Your mind feels foggy even when you try hard. You wake up tired before dawn arrives. You drag through tasks without caring anymore. This is not laziness. It is silent burnout. It is the cost of long-term numbness. When you ignore feelings, your soul exhausts. Burnout isn't always loud collapse. Sometimes it's a slow fade, a draining of color from your world, a loss of appetite for life itself. It steals your joy piece by piece. It steals your purpose like sand through fingers. You might think you lack discipline, but discipline drains when passion dies. You push yourself, but joy is gone. You push harder, but energy is spent. You distract with more tasks, but tasks become chains, not freedom. You check off lists without feeling pride. You achieve goals without celebration. That is the silent witness of burnout. Let me tell you about Eric. He was fired up about design. He spent years building his craft, until projects felt empty. He woke every morning with dread. He scrolled through social media for dopamine. He stayed late at his desk. He skipped lunches, skipped breaks. He told himself, "I'm close to breakthrough." But he never felt fulfilled. He lost track of why he started. His creativity flatlined. His relationships frayed. His health declined. He thought he just needed more caffeine. But caffeine couldn't fill the void. He hit a wall. He crashed in tears at 30. He realized he hadn't faced his feelings. He hadn't honored his exhaustion. He had treated burnout like a badge, a sign of his dedication. But it was his undoing. Burnout becomes a survival tactic. When you refuse to feel, you keep going, until you can't keep going. Your body stops whether you want it to or not. That stoppage forces you to feel, because you cannot work through exhaustion. You must rest, and rest feels terrifying, because stillness brings back feelings. Feelings you hid for so long. Feelings of grief, feelings of loss, feelings of fear. So you avoid rest, you avoid sleep, you avoid silence, you avoid moments without distraction. But your body demands them anyway. It demands care. It demands compassion. It demands recognition. Burnout is your body's final alarm. It says, you must listen now, not tomorrow, not next week, no. Ignoring it only worsens collapse. Recovery starts with permission, permission to stop, permission to breathe, permission to feel, permission to heal. Eric learned this the hard way. He took a month off without guilt. He allowed himself to cry each morning. He let himself sleep until his body woke. He journaled his anger at himself. He forgave himself for burnout. He reconnected with friends over coffee. He reconnected with nature on long walks. He reconnected with his feelings one by one. He felt frustration. He felt grief. He felt relief. He felt curiosity. And creativity returned. Maybe not at full speed, but it returned. Because he honored his humanity. He honored the fact that feelings fuel energy. Suppression drains energy. Expression restores it. As you read this, think of your own burnout. What feelings have you ignored? What pain have you shoved aside? What joy have you sacrificed? You can try to fix burnout with more routines, but routines fail when the heart is empty. You must feel first. Feel the weight in your chest. Feel the tremor in your voice. Feel the ache behind your eyes. Feel the tears that never fell, and then breathe into that feeling. Invite it. Hold it. Ask it what it needs. It might need rest. It might need conversation. It might need forgiveness. It might need boundaries. It might need your presence. Give it what it asks, even if it scares you. That is self-discipline at its finest. Discipline that honors rest. Discipline that honors boundaries. Discipline that honors your soul. In that space, burnout softens. Energy seeps back slowly. Interest returns in small bursts. You remember why you cared. You remember what made your heart beat. You remember who you are. And from that remembrance, you rebuild. Not faster, but wiser. Because you know the cost of numbness, and you know the price of burnout. So you choose differently. You choose feeling. You choose rest. You choose healing. You choose life. And that choice is more powerful than any achievement.